A lot of people are suffering physically and also feeling disconnected from life. I'm doing this podcast because I want to help. I want to spread the idea that pure joy is available not just to some people, but to everyone. On this show, I teach others how to access true joy through practices I've learned. I'll be sharing practical tips and tools that help me to fully enjoy and engage in life, to not be afraid to be fully expressed and to show up even when I'm scared. Growing up, I was happy, of course, from time to time, but I didn't really experience joy until I was in my 30s. I was born with a lot of health challenges, including systemic candida, and it made me feel tired and irritable and cranky most of the time. I was eating all the wrong foods, and I was sluggish and tired, and I was overly critical and in and out of hospitals all my childhood with pneumonia, tonsillitis. I had bronchitis several times. I was always coughing. I actually had scarlet fever, and those are just a few of the things that I had. I was constantly sick with sore throats and nasal infections, which also took me in and out of the doctor's offices, getting injections of antibiotics and puncturing my ears and you name it, penicillin. I suffered a lot. And then it wasn't until I was in my 30s that I finally decided to make a shift and do something about it. So I changed my diet, but I also changed my mindset. I refocused actually, and started shifting how I viewed the world. I started listening to tapes on the law of attraction, and I began doing yoga, and I fully immersed myself into a raw and plant-based diet. With the combination of diet, mindset, and a sudden flood of synchronistic happenings, I felt like I'd unlocked the key to life. I was at a stoplight one day, just minding my own business, drinking a green juice, which helps to alkalize my body. And suddenly I was just flooded with this feeling of pure joy, just like a wave came over me. It wasn't anything I was doing or I was on the way to or I was excited about in life. I had been married already at that point for several years and life was just going along. And this wave of joy helped me have this realization that the food that I was eating and consuming was actually alkalizing my body and helping me to feel these amazing waves of what everybody's birthright is, of joy, of feeling like just happy and content in my body. And it was then that I realized that I had found something, like a key to something. So I knew it wasn't just the food I was consuming, but it was also the other practices I was doing, like the yoga and the movement and the focusing on how my thoughts created my reality. And I just want to share with you that this pure joy that came to me, it's two different things. Happiness is different than joy. Happiness comes from circumstances. Like I'm happy because I have money, or I just won this prize, or I just met a guy or a girl, and I'm happy about that. But joy is something that it's an underlying feeling. It's kind of an always feeling in our life. It's this tone. Of course we're going to have moments of sadness and moments of unrest, and there's going to be grief in our lives. And I've gone through so much that I'll be sharing with you through these podcasts. And overall, though, I've really been able to tune in and tap back into that joy. It's just something that I really want to share, how amazing this can be when you can kind of really tune into this mindset and your body can find its true alignment and feeling truly healthy. So that's really what this podcast is all about. It's about teaching and inspiring others on how they too can unlock their key by operating at their highest potential. Then they'll experience also pure joy. And this podcast stems from my company's mission of helping others to live a life of joy. I do this now through my plant-based cafe, which I have in Bend, Oregon, my online videos and courses, which I teach a culinary program, and I also do those in person. And really all aspects of my business are circled around joy. Now, I say this a lot, food is like the gateway, so it's how I get people in. Especially in the cafe, people come to the cafe because they want to try this food. They've heard through word of mouth, maybe that it's just good, or that it's vegan, or that it's something, or that it's ketogenic, or paleo, or whatever the button words, the keywords are. But really, it's an overall feeling that I infuse into everything that I do. And so many people that I meet, especially people that come to my retreats or come to my culinary school, say, I thought I was just coming for food, but it was so much more than that. I can't believe how much my life has changed in the 3 weeks I've spent with you in Bali. I can't believe how much I've learned and how conscious language has completely changed the way I'm looking at my life. I didn't realize how much negative self-talk I was doing and how just tweaking these little things could make such a difference. Or I didn't realize that just doing a detox for a week with you could make me feel so much lighter, and I accessed those places you were talking about. And even though they were brief, I know that there's more of that, and I want more of that. So these are just some of the many things I've heard from people over the years. So I really want to challenge my audience by asking questions like, have you looked at how you're speaking to yourself? Have you looked at your self-talk and like what you say when you look in the mirror? Or like, do you say things like, I'm so stupid? Or do you say things like, I'm amazing, I'm in a physical body, and I'm just so grateful every day that I get to wake up and have this life to live, and people that need me and want me, and work that I get to go to help serve others? How about how you're speaking to your significant other? Are you saying things about them to other people? Or are you constantly praising and finding things to love about them? These are just subtle shifts and different things I'm going to be talking about during this podcast. And also just our internal thoughts and feelings. They're really shaping our behavior. They're shaping who we are. Every cell in our body turns over, not only every day, but every 7 years we are completely brand new. So if you think about the next 7 years building a better body and a better mind and better spiritual practices, you could be someone completely different even 6 months from now. And every new thing that you add into your life, every new concept that you decide to take on is creating the new you that now becomes just part of who you are. So if you're someone that doesn't exercise and you get inspired through something I say or something one of my guests says to start just doing a little bit of movement every day, 7 minutes maybe, or maybe meditating for 10 minutes a day, and you start doing that just regularly, maybe you just add one thing in 6 months, that becomes who you are. And then you can take another practice and add that on top of it. And that's basically what I've done over the last 2 decades, is I've just kept adding practices in, and that's what's made me who I am today, who is so different from the person I was in my 30s and especially in my childhood. I can't even believe it when I look back on how much I've changed and how many new amazing practices that I've taught myself and that others have taught me that have made me so happy and so excited in life and so courageous and brave and open-hearted. So just tune into this podcast, because you become more food conscious, you also become more mindful, and then there's areas of your life that you can truly start caring about others more, and also this planet that we live on. So once you're taking care of yourself, it's so much easier to love others and to love the planet and to make this a pure joy planet, to make this a place that people want to be. And people suddenly are gravitating towards you. I don't know what it is about you, but there's just something I want to be around. I want to be more like fill in the blank. So if this is something that sounds interesting to you, then definitely subscribe to this podcast, because you're going to learn so much over these lessons and courses. And really, it's just my goal to share with you everything that I can. I don't have any secrets. It's my goal to make a difference, to share the stories of those who are living an intentional and healthy life, a life of pure joy. I want to share with my audience the things that I've done to cure myself from disease and how I've changed my diet and my mindset. And not only me, but how my guests have changed their diet, mindset, and their routines, and what exercises they do, and what things they do to make their life better. So these are the kind of guests I'll be bringing in. So there's going to be stories, there's going to be experts, there's going to be riffs, there's going to be anything and everything that's going to just help teach and inspire. And so I want to inspire people to go from living maybe a monotonous life, maybe a life of drudgery, or maybe just something in between. It's not monotony and drudgery, but maybe it's just status quo. Like to go from that to living a life of spectacularness, to living a life on purpose. And so, there's so many people in my Pure Joy family. I have team members at my cafe. I have Kate, who I work with on a daily basis that you'll get to learn from. And we'll share, all of our stories, including how I healed from Candida. What is Candida and how we can cope with that? Like, what about our gut microbiome? How do we heal that? All the different tips and tricks. So if you're ready to take on a healthy lifestyle and to learn about traveling healthy and just traveling in your mind and traveling with your body and spiritual practices, then jump on board with me. And I promise you this, no matter the format, each show is going to be jam-packed with knowledge that will inspire and empower you. If you're suffering, you don't have to suffer. So join the Pure Joy family and me each Wednesday and subscribe wherever you enjoy podcasts.